Blog Talk Radio. Thank you for listening to Shedding the Bitch Radio with Bernadette. Hello, and welcome to Shedding the Bitch Radio, where you can discuss, debate, and get advice on how to discover and shed the bitches of fear, insecurity, self-doubt, and negative mindsets so you can realize your dreams and life purpose and create and accelerate the riches you want in life. Join us here live every Tuesday at noon Eastern and dialogue with us at 818-572-2910. You can also chat with us at Blog Talk Radio/SheddingTheBitch or share your stories on our website at sheddingthebitch.com. Whatever the bitch is that's holding you back from living your life to the fullest, it's not worth giving up the riches in life that you deserve. So call in now and let Bernadette Boas know what's holding you back. 818-572-2910.
Good day, everyone. Deborah, can you hear me? I can hear you. Okay, perfect. Happy New Year's, everyone. We'll get that cleaned up. We were having some difficulties as we were coming live on the program, and I wanted to kind of bring it in with great excitement for the new year. Happy New Year's, everyone, all around the world. I hope you had a fabulous and fun and exciting and yet safe Happy New Year celebration. I absolutely had a blast watching all the different celebrations from around the world as they recapped them throughout the day yesterday and especially last night. I actually not forced myself. I actually made a nice New Year celebration for myself last night. I kind of knew all my friends and family were out of town, and I was back in Atlanta after spending a week with them for the Christmas holiday. Thought to myself, okay, well, I have some dogs at the house. I'll go get myself a nice steak and a nice bottle of Prosecco, and I'll get some dessert and some appetizers, and I'll just make a whole evening out of it. And that's exactly what I did. I just kind of dabbled, I would say, starting at about 5 or 6 o'clock, watching some football, watching some of the recaps of the 2018 year before I got into laughing my guts out over Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper on CNN. Not typically the show that I watched, but I kept going through the 3 or 4 different programs that were on all evening, and the two of them were having such a great time amongst themselves that you couldn't help but have a good time. So it was a lot of fun, and I had little Coco here with me in Tor, this big 140-pound monster that's laying and sleeping at the moment. Hey, Deborah, I know you're out there. How was your New Year celebration? She's on mute. And she actually might have been also having to walk away from this.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Did you have a nice holiday?
I did. It was good. We let the kids stay up until 9 to watch the ball drop in New York, so they got to ring in the New Year, too.
Nice.
And then after they went to bed, my husband, we Netflixed and chilled, which is apparently a current euphemism, but we actually just watch Netflix and chill.
Nice. Well, I guess that is an advantage to the West Coast if you have kids, is you can let them watch the ball drop 3 hours earlier, like at 9 o'clock, so you don't have to keep them up till midnight, and then you can put them to bed, like at their normal hour. I really never thought of that. Are you there, Deborah?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's very, very, very cool. Well, I'm glad you had a beautiful holiday and a nice New Year celebration. I'm excited for the new year. I don't know about all of you. Not that I am thrilled about closing off a chapter, but I am that type of person who says, okay, yesterday's gone. It was nice. It was fun. It was challenging. It was hard, whatever the case might be. But New Year's always brings an opportunity, just like each and every day does, brings you an opportunity to reflect and to reset and even to just kind of completely transform should you choose to. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today on today's program. Last week and in the previous weeks, we kind of went through December, really talking about first shedding the holiday bitches and blues, because many people do deal with a lot of emotions this time of year. And then we also talked about gratitude. We then kind of crept into last week to then spend time assessing and reflecting on the year, both in a way which you can honor your riches and honor what you've been through, good, bad, hard, easy, success or missteps, whatever the case might be. It's always very transformative and transforming, I should say, to really just a hard look and a raw look and an honest look and a transparent look as to where you've been, and because it then leads into and helps you really define what it is you're wanting and looking to do in the new year. But again, whether you start today or next week or a month from now, every day you kind of wake up and you're above ground and you put your feet on the ground, you have an opportunity to start over, to reset, to even start establishing goals and action plans and that kind of thing. So I want to be sure to, for those of you who aren't accustomed to making and setting goals, it's okay. And those of you who are, maybe you fall out really early in the year from your New Year's resolutions or your goals or your objectives, whatever you might call them, that's okay too. And then for those of you who are kind of drivers and you're hard on yourself maybe, and maybe too hard, as far as setting those goals and setting those action plans, executing them, and hopefully achieving them, but maybe you don't. You all have an opportunity right now to kind of put those plans back in place, define those plans, or reset those plans. So that's what we'll talk about in our time together today, to give you those things that you could be thinking about in order to do just that. But again, go back to the programs last week and all through December. Last week's will definitely prepare you for today. We talked about the assessment. We talked about looking at what happened, what were you proud of, what did you struggle with, what was the impact of that success and or misstep, and what would you do differently going forward, and what maybe you would have stayed the same and stayed on course, or where you would have taken a major detour, if not just thrown the map away completely and redefined it. So we went through all of that, and you have an opportunity to go back and listen to that. You can go to blogtalkradio.com/sheddingthebitchradio and download it there. You can go to sheddingthebitch.com and download it from our radio page, and even up on iTunes, you can download it there. Let's see. Other than that, before we get into it all, I am going to take a brief break because I do want to figure out that technical issue. But we'll take a brief break. When we get back, we will dive into how to get you rocking the year with your 2019 RICHplan. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Shedding the Bitch Radio with Bernadette Boas. We are inspiring individuals around the globe to discover, confront, and shed their bitches of fear, insecurity, and negativity so they can create the riches in their career, business, and life they deserve. Be sure to check out Bernadette's book, Shedding the Corporate Bitch, Shifting from Bitch to Rich in Life and Business, available on Amazon and sheddingthebitch.com. We also want to thank our sponsors, North Georgia Tax Solutions, who offers a broad range of tax services for small to corporate-sized clients. Go to ngtaxsolutions.com to learn more. And Parker House Virtual Services, who provides virtual assistance and social media support for small to medium-sized businesses. Email Deborah Parker at deborahparker.va@gmail.com for more information. To become a sponsor or advertiser on our program, email us at media relations at sheddingthebitch.com. Shedding the Bitch Radio airs every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. Be sure to go to blogtalkradio.com/sheddingthebitchradio and follow the program for all of the updates and announcements of our guests and show topics. Now let's return to Bernadette and Shedding the Bitch Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. We are diving in and kicking off 2019 on this January 1st date, getting you ready with your RICHplan. And it's a plan that I have used for many years, actually, for both myself personally, as well as with my clients, friends, and colleagues. And I'll be honest with you, I had worked on mine throughout December and thought I had it really tight and really kind of set in place to where I was very excited coming into the new year. But even my experiences over the last couple of weeks, running off and hanging out with the family and then coming back and hanging out with friends and kind of dealing with a couple of things, won't go into them here, but at the same time, it kind of gave me pause. A couple of things, both personally and professionally, gave me pause as to where does my heart really sit when it comes to what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it. And it's something that you could be thinking about too. Just because you've been doing the same thing, maybe, time and time again, and maybe it feels comfortable, maybe it feels familiar, maybe it just feels almost like an obligation, doesn't mean that you necessarily have to remain there. Doesn't mean that it doesn't change, or you don't want it to change, or you don't help to make it change. And that's what I started thinking about probably just in the past maybe 10 days is I have always loved what I do. Rarely have I found myself in a situation or a work project or a personal relationship that I'm not completely engaged with and happy with, and I intentionally made that decision to kind of involve myself in it because I take great care in making sure that what I do and where I spend my time and where I put my efforts and my heart is where I want it to be and where it's going to give me the most benefit and health and richness in my life. It's kind of where everything from Shedding the Bitch has come from, is kind of getting rid of shedding all those things that weren't making me happy for so long, and really working hard and being very intentional about only putting my mind, my body, my heart, my head into what and where and whom I think I can really grow. So I want to give you an opportunity to be thinking about that as well, because it caught me off guard, I'll be honest with you. It caught me off guard where I had this plan laid out. I had my new journal, my fresh pages of my new journal, all kind of sitting pretty with where I thought I was going to start, executing come tomorrow. I give myself a break all through from Christmas to New Year's Day and January 2nd, especially if it's a Monday. If it's a weekend, then it gets delayed. But in the case of, for instance, tomorrow, January 2nd being a Wednesday, then that's when I really kind of work myself up to starting to execute my plan. But I found myself reworking it. I found myself going back into a place of contemplation to really, really go deep inside and think about what really matters to me. So that's where we're going to start. I want to give you an opportunity, and I want you to take an opportunity for yourself to really consider where you are right now, and where you can do it on a scale of 1 to 10. You can do it on a kind of just a measurement of very happy to okay happy. Hopefully you don't go below that. You don't go into you don't go into unhappy, you don't go into sad, you don't go into depression. Obviously, if you are there, then you definitely have an opportunity to make major changes and major plans for only going up at that point. But wherever you are, I want you to really take an honest look at where are you, and the plans that you have for yourself, even if they're in your head, let alone on a piece of paper, are they really what you truly, truly want to be doing and what you want in your life? So very much like last week, if you wanted to, whether or not you're doing it live while you're listening, or you go back, you come back and you maybe listen to it again when you have a piece of paper or a journal or a computer. And what I want you to do is on that blank page, kind of create columns, one to the left, one to the right, just like we did last week. We're asking similar questions, but now these are moving forward as opposed to looking back. So that's what we did last week, is we kind of had you look back, because all that information, if you haven't done it, go back to that episode of last week's. It's the last Tuesday of December 2018, and kind of sit down and do that first if you want to, because all that information, all of that contemplation, all of that assessment can certainly be used for now, looking at today going forward. So the first today I want you to be thinking about and putting on that left side of your piece of paper is, where are you? Where are you right now? And what I mean by that is where you are mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, as far as what's your status. You know, I'm married, I have kids, I have a career that I love, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I have multiple vacations planned, I have a beautiful home, I have a nice car, I feel very blessed. Just kind of a status of who are you and where are you right now. And what I want you to then, after you spend time doing that, and last week we did talk about popcorn brainstorming, and what that means is limit the amount of time that you spend on any one of these questions. Something like this question, it might take you several minutes to really just think about it and really kind of go inward and ground yourself in truth and in kind of authenticity about where it is you are and who you are. But at the same time, don't do it to the point where you're then kind of straying and you're trying to make up things and or you're having to grasp at straws. You pretty much just want to think about the first things that come to your mind as far as where you are currently. And this is purely and you might have done this again, I'll say you might have done this last week. And if you have, great. And if you haven't, then this is the opportunity for you to do it. But you just want to just kind of say, okay, as fast as the world's moving, as fast as my holiday season, my weeks, my days, my minutes are moving, I just want to kind of validate and confirm that what I want and what I've put in place as a plan or what I'm about to put into place is really what I want to be doing. Because again, like I said, I got caught off guard with really reconsidering a couple of things that I had been doing for a very long time, at least for 4 or 5 years, and I'll be making changes in regards to them. So basically current state. Then I want you to, on the left-hand side, we're still on the left-hand side, I want you to say, and tell yourself, what do you want? What do you truly, truly want? And on the right side, you're going to say, what don't you want going forward? Now, last week during our episode, we looked at the same questions, but as it pertained to 2018. Now it's kind of using that information and using those answers to kind of say, okay, so for the new year, what do I want and what don't I want to carry forward with me into the new year? And that could also be turned into who do you want involved in your 2019 life? Who do you don't or you no longer want involved in your 2019 life? And what does your world look like on December 31st, 2019? What do you want your world to be looking like in 2019? Now, I had a young woman and her group of friends. A number of them had gotten engaged over the holiday, and she's kind of like probably not the only one, but she was feeling as if she was the only one that wasn't engaged. As a matter of fact, she wasn't even in a relationship. And so I just, I said, well, how is that making you feel? And she's like, well, surprisingly, I feel okay. I'm not wallowing. I'm not, feeling pity or depressed about the fact that all my friends are getting married and I'm not. And I thought that, I was like, well, that's wonderful. And she's like, however, I would love to be in a relationship. I would love to, not necessarily meet the man of my dreams and the one that I'm going to be marrying, but at least be in a relationship. And so I just said, I just told her, I said, well, is that something that you would kind of lay out as a goal for this coming year? And this reaction is quite common, but she said, well, I'm not going to set a goal about finding a relationship. I said, why not? You set a goal around finding a job, how much money you want to make, kind of the type of job you want to be doing, the fact that you want to lose weight, gain weight, whatever the case might be. Why wouldn't you do it around a relationship? And she actually just kind of responded that, she felt that was a little vain. And I said, well, no, it's just, really being intentional and focusing on what it is that you want. And if you want a relationship, there's nothing to say that you can't put a plan in place in order to find a relationship. And I would say the same to all of you as well. Nothing is off limits in regards to defining it as a goal. If it's to get married, if it's to make a certain amount of money, if it's to find a relationship, if it's to, climb a mountain, whatever the case might be, all of those, anything can be turned into a goal, and then with action against that goal, be something that you can achieve and pursue and then achieve. So just think about that. So your big summary questions and planning that you want to do is all around this. Where am I currently? What do I want in my life this coming year? What don't I want in my life? Who do I want in my life? Who I don't want in my life? And what does my world look like, in the next 365 days? So I'm in a different place than I am today, or maybe I'm in a more richer, more transformative place. Maybe you love where you are today, but there's just more things you want to be pursuing and achieving. But get an idea and get a picture into your head, because what you focus on is what you're going to act on and what you're going to be able to achieve. So that's what we want you to do, is focus on where you want to be December 31st, 2019, and keep that picture in your mind. And then everything that you're going to do leading up to that, even as far as goal setting and setting your action plans in place and the measurements you'll put against them, will all guide you toward that end state. So we have the current state, and then we're working toward an end state. Now, once you have that high-level amount of information, and you've gone back to last week's episode, and you've also assessed your 2018, what's worked, what didn't work, what were your successes, what were your lessons learned, all of those things. You have a ton of information to really help you put down what I call a rich plan, but it's really as simple as your SMART goals about what it is that you're going to work hard on this year, because anything worth having is going to take work. So that's another reason why getting it out of your head and onto a piece of paper, I talk about this a lot, is critical, because, as long as you keep it in your head, you're kind of not owning it. You're not committing to it. You're not being accountable to it. And what we need you to do is to really feel ownership and accountability toward what it is that you want. You can't just hope that you're going to get lucky and that everything that you want falls into place when you don't have any kind of plan or any kind of direction or any kind of map to get you there. Not to say people, don't get lucky at times. But at the same time, you're listening to this program and you're part of this community because you know that whatever it is that you want in life, even shedding the bitches, let alone creating the riches that you want, it all takes work. It all takes planning. It all takes action. It all takes accountability. It takes measurement. And it also takes rewarding yourself and honoring the successes and the riches that you obtain as you go, through your life each and every day. So with all of that, I'm going to take a brief break. I want you to be thinking about kind of what are those things. Where's your current state? Where's the end state of where you want to be December 31st, 2019? What do you want? What don't you want? Who do you want in your life? Who don't you want in your life? And what will your world look like? As you're considering all of that, we're going to take a break. We'll come back, and we are going to talk about SMART goals, because as often as I talk about this and we give you these type of tools, I find too often that people just don't follow through and actually plan, let alone execute them. So I want to make sure that as often as we have to talk about it, we will, to help you kind of understand and appreciate how SMART goals can really accelerate what it is that you want to create in your life. So we'll be right back.
You are listening to Shedding the Bitch Radio with Bernadette Boas. We are inspiring individuals around the globe to discover, confront, and shed their bitches of fear, insecurity, and negativity, so they can create the riches in their career, business, and life they deserve. Be sure to check out Bernadette's book, Shedding the Corporate Bitch, Shifting from Bitch to Rich in Life and Business, available on Amazon and sheddingthebitch.com. We also want to thank our sponsors, North Georgia Tax Solutions, who offers a broad range of tax services for small to corporate-sized clients. Go to ngtaxsolutions.com to learn more. And Parker House Virtual Services, who provides virtual assistance and social media support for small to medium-sized businesses. Email Deborah Parker at deborahparker.va@gmail.com for more information. To become a sponsor or advertiser on our program, email us at mediarelations@sheddingthebitch.com. Shedding the Bitch Radio airs every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. Be sure to go to blogtalkradio.com/Shedding the Bitch Radio and follow the program for all of the updates and announcements of our guests and show topics. Now let's return to Bernadette and Shedding the Bitch Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. We are kicking off January 1st, 2019. Happy New Year's, everybody. I'm trying to wake up still. I don't know about you. I'm trying to shake off my New Year's celebration. But we're talking about setting your goals and getting your rich plan in place. And what better time to do it than on January 1st, 2019. Some of you may already have it done because we often talk about it. And I have many of our community members who are kind of very disciplined, very religious when it comes to goal setting, acting against those goals, and assessing them, making adjustments, and achieving them. And some of us don't achieve our goals the first time around, so we just kind of readjust and keep moving forward if we determine that those goals are still important to us. And I kind of mentioned that at the top of the hour, that as much as I was ready to go with a plan that I had put in place over the last 30 days, I realized over the last 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, that I'm readjusting a couple of my goals and a couple of my plans, that they're just, when I really, really, really took a look at what and where I could be most effective and contribute the greatest I wasn't putting emphasis there. I was putting emphasis elsewhere. So those are even adjustments I'm making as we speak today. So this conversation is always good, not only for me to share with others like yourselves, but also for me, if that makes sense. So we are talking, and we're going to go into this section, really putting a framework around our goals. I don't know how often I get the question, how do I set goals? How do I really not materialize them, but how do I articulate them and define them in such a way that they are true goals, not just dreams without actions that really just turn into hope and a lot of luck. And so I, like many people, the SMART goals is not something I came up with. It's something I have refined over the years, but it's been around for a long time. And I just feel that any type of framework is a good way, an effective way to help one take something that seems very nebulous to a lot of people and help them, kind of articulate it in a more specific, detailed, planned fashion, so then they can take action and really kind of see what it is that they want to be doing in a more logical state. So SMART goals, SMART is an acronym, for those of you who aren't familiar, is an acronym for goal setting. And that acronym, it means S is for specific. And again, if you have your journal, your computer, your notes on your phone, as you're listening to this, you can take notes. I'm also going to put these notes from this episode up on our sheddingthebitch.com radio page, along with the podcast of the show. So should you not have the opportunity to make notes, you'll find them there. So SMART, S for specific, M is measurements, A is actions, R is relevance, and T is timeline. Now let me go into those a little bit more specific, and so you know exactly how you want to be defining your goals. So goal planning is not just saying and defining something that you want. Goal setting is really about ultimately the plan that you put into place that you're going to act on, you're going to measure, you're going to assess, you're going to adjust, and you're going to track along the way until you've achieved what it is you set out to do. So these 5 SMART goals allows you to do that and provide you that framework to ensure that you have all those elements defined in order to have them to be very tangible goals for you to be pursuing. So the specific means you want to be as specific as possible around a goal. So, for instance, the common things, I'll try to keep it simple. The common things are that people say is, well, I want to earn a lot of money. I want to lose a lot of weight. I want to be more socially active. Well, those are all great things to pursue, but they're not goals. They're not true goals. If you want them to be true goals, you need them to be more specific. You need them to be more detailed. How much weight? How much money do you want to be earning? What does socially active mean? Does that mean that you want to be dating more? Does that mean that you want to be out socializing, making new friends, trying new things, being more adventurous? So you want to get as specific as possible. This year I want to earn $100,000 in my, consulting and coaching practice by obtaining new clients, by maintaining the clients that I have, by creating new products and services, blah, blah, blah. You just want to really drill down on that high level statement. I want to lose weight. I want to get more healthy. I want to make more money. I want to be more socially active. And you want to get a great deal more specific as to what exactly does that mean to you. So specific. Then the M for measurement is how are you going to measure whether or not you're achieving that goal. So, for instance, a lot of times people will say, okay, I want to lose a lot of weight. Great. Then they get more specific. I want to lose 20 pounds by doing X, Y, and Z, or I want to be in a certain size, or I want to get down to a certain BMI, whatever the case might be. The measurement that you want to put into place is, what are those steps? What are those stepping stones that you're going to be able to track as you go to ensure that you're going to meet that goal? So even though you want to lose 30 pounds, let's take that for instance, then you want to say, okay, but my measurements are going to be that I am losing 5 pounds a month for the next 6 months, or I'm working out four times a week for the next 6 months, whatever the case might be. So you want to define the measurements that you're going to use, just like think business. At work, you're probably measured on certain parameters. You're measured on maybe revenue that you're generating, or expenses that you're saving, or sales that you're making, or clients that you're bringing on board, or the number of impressions or likes or tweets or retweets. So think of those things in the same way, that whatever your goal is, you want to come up with measurements for you to have and be tracking on a weekly, monthly basis to ensure that you're hitting your goal and you're working toward your goal. So those would be your measurements on top of your detailed, specific goal statement. And then the actions are going to be specifically a laundry list of actions initially that you're going to take in order for you to be able to achieve that goal. So if your goal was to lose, that 30 pounds, 5 pounds a month, by eating healthy, by going to the gym, working out a certain amount of time, then all the actions need to support those things. So the actions would need to be, what do you need to do in order to lose that weight, get to the gym, eat healthy. So your actions could be buy a new pair of sneakers, buy some workout clothes, get a gym membership, make your weekly shopping list, so you ensure you have a shopping list so you're not, buying things that you don't want to be eating. You want to get a personal trainer. You want to join a running club. You want to take some personal I think I said personal training. You want to start playing a sport, whatever the case might be. So those are all the actions over time you're going to want to do in order to execute on that goal, let alone achieve it. And then we'll talk about this another time. You're going to take all those actions and you're going to prioritize them to kind of pick 3 each day or each week that are a top priority in order for you to start executing and achieving that goal. So, for instance, certainly you're going to have a laundry list if you're, wanting to lose 30 pounds. You're going to have a laundry list of things. But one of the first things could be that you need a pair of sneakers, or you need a pair of workout clothes, because you can get up in the morning and certainly go out and do anything. You don't need a gym membership. But if you don't have a pair of walking or running shoes, or you don't have a pair of leggings or a pair of shorts or whatever the case might be, then that's just going to be an excuse that you then start giving yourself as to why you're not pursuing, let alone achieving your goal. So you need to get it prioritized. The gym membership might be next month's priority, whereas it doesn't need to be this month's. And we'll talk time management and prioritizations another time. So we have specifics, we have measurements, we have actions, and then we have relevancy. Now, where this comes in, and you'll see it somewhat different depending upon the SMART goal model that somebody might be using. Some people look at it as realistic. Some people say relevancy. I like relevancy because realistic, they kind of are similar, but relevancy to me means, and for you, what I like you to be thinking about is it relevant for me to lose 30 pounds when I've never lost it before? Or can I lose, 30 pounds in the 6 months I've defined when I'm not putting into place either a diet or a fitness routine because I don't have the time or I'm just not there yet mentally, which is fine, and you go at your own pace, you do what you want, but you want to define your goal to ensure that it's as relevant to who you are and where you are currently in your world as possible. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to set yourself up for failure before you even get started. So, for instance, let's look at the money goal. So if there was a money goal out there and say someone wanted that $100,000 to be making this year, in their consulting coaching practice, but they haven't been making it at all over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years they've had their practice, then is it relevant for them to be setting that goal for themselves, or are they going to be setting themselves up for failure? So you just want to kind of validate for yourself, confirm for yourself that the goal that you're setting and setting out to start executing against is something that you're going to be able to achieve and something that's relevant to where you are right now. And then the last one, T, is timeline. People will often say that any goal without a end date or without a due date or a timeline, call it whatever you want, is really just a dream. That if you don't put a due date, an end date on something, a timeline on something, and you just say, oh, well, I'm just going to lose 30 pounds whenever, or I'm going to earn $100,000 whenever, or I'm going to climb that mountain whenever, that it's really just a hope. It's really just a dream. And it's not anything real concrete, or it's not a goal. So you want to put timelines on things. But I like to look at it more pragmatically. You just want to kind of constrain yourself and push yourself and give yourself energy around whether it's a timeline on an action or it's a timeline on your overall goal. Because you don't want to be, just kind of hanging out and doing things just haphazardly or lazily, or, you're just dragging your feet on something. You kind of want to use all of these constraints to create energy and excitement about, gosh, what is it going to feel like when I actually achieve that goal, no matter how big or how small. And as a matter of fact, as you're going from point, A to point Z on your goal, say it's a 3-month goal or 6-month goal or a year goal, you want to be celebrating and rewarding yourself along the way, and really what we call honor your riches along the way, because people don't want to wait 3, 6, a year to kind of celebrate, that they've achieved something. They want to do it. Everybody wants immediate gratification anymore. I mean, that's just the way the world is. So kind of take hold of that idea and apply that to your own goals. And that measurement that we talked about earlier, those measurements along with your timelines are great milestones for you to be able to either, celebrate and reward yourself, or maybe you have to assess and, there is a concept of giving yourself consequences that if you don't achieve your goal or that set of actions, that milestone that you set out for yourself, then what's this consequence going to be? And you can always, kind of define on that left and right-hand side of your paper, you can always say, these are the rewards I'm going to give myself along the way, toward my goal. And these are the consequences I'm also going to have to kind of pay myself should I not kind of complete those actions when they're supposed to be completed. Or maybe I don't even pursue them at all because I get in my head and I'm worried about them, or I'm scared about pursuing them, whatever the case might be. There's, this idea that you also want to have some consequences. And what could those be? Well, maybe it's that you don't buy yourself a new little outfit or a pair of shoes, or you don't go out to a special dinner, or you don't put, an extra set of monies in your account. Should that have been a reward that you would have given yourself? Now you kind of lose that because of the fact that you didn't complete or achieve what you've committed to. And again, it's really just making sure that you're being accountable and doing the work that's necessary for anyone and anything that wants success in their lives. and that wants riches in their lives. And we all know it does take work. So that's your SMART goals. And I'll put up our RICHplan template on the website as well, and you can download that and use it. And it does have the framework of SMART goals and a number of other things that you could be leveraging as you work to define your goals. All right? So think about that. SMART goals: specific, measurable or measurements, actions, relevancy, and timeline. And when we come back, I'm going to kind of, now that you have your goals, you're not quite done yet, because you really want to ensure that you're grounded and that these are firmly put into place. And there's some additional things I want you to be thinking about in order to do that. So we'll be right back.
You are listening to Shedding the Bitch Radio with Bernadette Boas. We are inspiring individuals around the globe to discover, confront, and shed their bitches of fear, insecurity, and negativity, so they can create the riches in their career, business, and life they deserve. Be sure to check out Bernadette's book, Shedding the Corporate Bitch, Shifting from Bitch to Rich in Life and Business, available on Amazon and sheddingthebitch.com. We also want to thank our sponsors, North Georgia Tax Solutions, who offers a broad range of tax services for small to corporate-sized clients. Go to ngtaxsolutions.com to learn more. And Parker House Virtual Services, who provides virtual assistance and social media support for small to medium-sized businesses. Email Deborah Parker at deborahparker.va@gmail.com for more information. To become a sponsor or advertiser on our program, email us at mediarelations@sheddingthebitch.com. Shedding the Bitch Radio airs every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. Be sure to go to blogtalkradio.com/sheddingthebitchradio and follow the program for all of the updates and announcements of our guests and show topics. Now let's return to Bernadette and Shedding the Bitch Radio.
Welcome back, everyone, and one last time, happy New Year. I just absolutely love this day, each and every year, this almost like a week worth of transitioning, I guess you could call it, refining, redefining, resetting, getting one set up for another great, powerful, rich year. And that's what we're talking about today. Over the past 30 days, we've talked everything from gratitude to shedding the holiday bitches and blues to even looking back and assessing 2018, what you've done the last 12 years, the good, the bad, the ugly, and really leveraging all of that assessment as you then move into the new year and define your RICHplan. And in some cases, like mine, refine a plan that you've already put in place. But that's okay. And as a matter of fact, what I want to end the show talking about is I want to give you some questions and some things to think about as a result of now going through and looking at your current state and what your world looks like in 365 days on December 31st, 2019. That leads into you being able to define your SMART goals based on that reflection. I want you to now, as you've defined those goals into that SMART framework, I want you to ask yourself a few things, all right? I want you to look back on what you thought about in 2018 and while defining your SMART goals, and I want you to be very honest with yourself about what bitches get in your way of achieving your goals. What are those fears, insecurities, negativities, doubts, emotions of any kind that have gotten in your way in the past of you achieving your goals? But I'll even back it up from there. Maybe you even hesitated or avoided or ignored even executing on the actions you defined toward your goals. Maybe you failed to really go at it with the same energy that you had when you defined it. Maybe priorities changed by the time you reached having or wanting to do something. There are a lot of things can come into play when it comes to first defining your goals, let alone executing them. I deal with, a lot of my clients deal with not defining their goals as deep and as truthful as they talk to me about them, and that's because they all of a sudden will get a sense of fear of, oh my gosh, now I'm going to be held accountable to them. Now I'm going to be committed to them. Now I'm going to be obligated to them. What if I tell people about my goal and then I don't do it or I don't accomplish it? They all of a sudden just feel like putting it on a piece of paper, even though it's for themselves. This is for you and only you. You're more than welcome to share them with me and seek my advisement and my guidance on them. But this, goal setting is all for you and you only. You don't even need to share them with other people unless you feel that you need to share them with other people in order for you to be then, able to execute and achieve them. Maybe you do want to be held accountable. So I really need you to kind of be honest with yourself about what has gotten in your way in the past of you both executing your goals, let alone achieving them, okay? Because if you can be honest about it. So, for instance, I think I talked to you guys in the past about this, but a year ago, November, I went out to L.A. and I was pitching my film script, and I got a good handful of executives, studio network executives, very interested and intrigued, and I'll call curious about my script and about my treatment and about my 2-pager. And they asked me to send it to them. And I came back, and, you would think that I was like all go hum and all excited. And, I just, would review my documents one last time and get it off to them because the world could change if all of a sudden someone said, yes, let's green light this project. Well, there was 2 of the, whatever the number was, but there were these main 2 that I got totally overwhelmed with. I got totally insecure about. Because I thought to myself, oh my gosh, if I blow it on this for these particular studios, on this shot, I'm never going to get another shot. And I'll be truthful with you. I did not send in any of that for about 3 months. And I just sat on it and I just ignored it. And I just kind of would look at it every once in a while and just feel this little ping of insecurity again. So we all get bitches that kind of keep us from not only achieving our goals, but even executing against them. And that's not what, the world's about. That's not what life is about. That's not what it is that we're all here in support of each other to do. And so I want you to learn from my mistakes, but I want you to overcome those things and be honest with yourself now, because I do the same things that I'm asking you to do. I sat down last January, February, I guess it was, and I was like, why am I not sending this out? What is it about this whole thing that is scaring me? And again, it's not fear of failure for me. Rarely does that come up. It's fear of success. Like, what is going to happen should this actually get picked up? So, you want to acknowledge that right now as you're defining your goals. You want to acknowledge it and own it, and then identify ways that you're going to shed them. So that's the next thing I want you to make note of and think about is, what are you willing to do to shed those bitches? What are you willing to overcome? What fear are you willing to face? What negativity are you willing to give up? What excuses are you willing to put aside and give up? What are you willing to do to shed those fears, insecurities, doubts, and negativities? Because you don't want anything standing in your way of achieving your goals. And in some cases, you might need to be thinking about, what do you need to do to shed them? You might need help. You might need a support system. You might need, somebody to review your documents one last time, or someone to help you execute on something that you don't have the expertise on. Or, there could be the who's, what's, and where's of support that you need and help that you need in order for you to shed your fears, insecurities, doubts, or negativities. And that's okay too. then you just go out those things that you need. Again, you don't want them as excuses as to why it is you're not achieving your goals. Then I want you to be thinking about a couple of other things. What compromises are you willing to make, and what sacrifices will you make in order to achieve your goals? So, for instance, if you do have a money or a career or a job goal, maybe it requires you moving. Maybe it requires you taking a different position. Maybe it requires you looking at another company and leaving the company that you're very comfortable with right now. Maybe when it comes to that fitness health goal, maybe it's that you get up an hour earlier, or maybe it's you have to get a babysitter because you're a mom, a dad, you have kids, and you can't make those excuses. You can't use them as excuses. Anybody can lose weight, whether they have, 1 kid, 10 kids, whether they work, 24 hours a day. If they want to lose weight, if they want to get more money, if they want to get fit, if whatever their goal is, those things are only excuses, ways of avoiding, ways of ignoring, ways of not making the compromises or the sacrifices that they need to make in order to pursue their goal. So what compromises and what sacrifices are you willing to make? Now, once you do that, in our last couple of minutes, once you do that, I want you to then go back and I want you to look at your SMART goals again. Is there anything you need to change? Is there anything that you need to add? Is there anything that you need to tweak? Are there, specifics around your goal that, you now have more information about and you need to get more specific? Maybe you need to change your measurements because you need to hold yourself more accountable. Maybe you need to take some actions you weren't considering before, like the compromises and sacrifices might have you thinking about, oh, wow, I have to get up an extra hour earlier, or I have to go and look for, a different job, or write a resume, or to prepare for that climb up the mountain, or whatever the case might be. Now you have even more information regarding your bitches, what you're willing to do to shed them, what you're willing to do to create the riches that you want, what compromises you're willing to make, what sacrifices it's going to take. Go back and just ground yourself one last time in those SMART goals that you've defined. And once you've done that and you feel good about it, they're not going to be perfect, and they may change tomorrow. All of a sudden you might have, this has happened in the past, you might have somebody in your life that all of a sudden kind of comes in and or it's a company that all of a sudden is, maybe merging or being sold off, but all of a sudden life just comes in and interrupts the plan that you put into place. Well, guess what? What do you do then? You don't throw the plan out. You just refine it. You just adjust it. You just tweak it. You do what you have to do to still pursue that goal if it's still a priority. Remember, those priorities could change. They might be very high priority today, and a month, 6 months, 9 months from now, they're not, that priority. So, it's a living, breathing document. Your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, they're living and they're breathing and they're changing. So just keep that in mind as you define this rich plan for yourself. All right? And if you ever need me, you know where to find me. Shedding the Bitch on Facebook or Twitter, or Bernadette Boas at sheddingthebitch.com. Happy New Year's, everybody, and have a great time creating your rich plan. And I'll talk to you this time next week on Shedding the Bitch Radio. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Shedding the Bitch Radio with Bernadette Boas. Join Bernadette every Tuesday at noon Eastern as she helps you shift your bitches to riches. And the dialogue is always going on at sheddingthebitch.com. See you next week.